Hey buddies, Miss Poker here, coming at you another Borderlands 3 video. Today I'm coming at you a different type of video. I've been seeing a lot of people going insane about trying to get the perfect company man for Vladof Moze, or any type of company man that's godroll at all. And since I've seen a lot of people spend a lot of time to try to get that godroll, I want to show you a artifact that's actually better than the company man. And I'm going to show you some DPS side-by-sides here so I can prove to you why the company man is not as good as you think it is. So first, I'm going to show you with the company man itself. I am not using any guardian ranks. I'm not using any action skill points at all. No shield class mods, grenades, just the artifact. I don't have a perfect Vladof Company Man, but the calculations itself doesn't vary between the two, because the godroll company mans that people are looking for are Vladof damage 50, Vladof damage 50 critical. So I have a COV version here, so we can do the DPS calculations here and still be able to show you why the company man is not as good as you think. Now before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You'd have no idea how much it helps me out. We just reached 800 subscribers and I'm looking to hit 900 next. Let's get into the video. So right off the bat, I have a COV gun here. Very bare bones. It's a rare, random annoyment, nothing special. So on body shot, that's 15, critical shot 51. With company man, we have 51 critical, 15 body shot, right? Okay, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But let's go to the pearl, which is usually the best in slot. We go to body shots. We're starting off low, and we eventually go to 22, and we're doing 50k crit. So we're doing 22 body shots, 50 crit. So as you see, the crit damage is higher with the company man, as to be expected, because it does have the crit bonus, but the body shots are a lot less compared to the pearl. Now what does that mean exactly? So most scenarios, you're not going to be able to crit every single time you shoot. Most scenarios are going to be shooting around randomly, and look, I'm getting some crits, I'm getting some body shots, mostly body shots, and that's how the most situations are going to be, unless you have a perfect situation where you're going to deal crits no matter what. Now the difference between that two, from the company man and the pearl, the company man only has a 1.8% increased damage on crit compared to the pearl, but per body shot, the pearl actually has a 32% more damage per shot. So right from the bat, you can kind of see why the pearl is a little bit more preferable. But you might be saying, well, I don't care about dealing the most amount of damage. I just care about getting a manufacturer artifact that will be able to deal tons and tons of damage. Now, that's great. That's great for you. But you got to keep in mind that the company man can drop any type of manufacturer, and getting your preferred manufacturer with the god rolls and good second stats is nearly impossible. You're going to be spending hours and hours and hours farming one of the hardest bosses in the game, unless of course you can kill it really easily, like I showed with the back burner kills. Click up here for that. For the most part, your damage isn't going to be better just because you have a god roll. The damage is not that amazing when you have a god roll compared to a pearl. So despite all the hype and everything, the company man is still only second best, maybe, for a non-gimmick artifact damage boost. Now you might be saying you also get the fire rate bonus on top of that, assuming you got a perfect god roll. I don't have quite the perfect, it's a 40, but hey, whatever. Theoretically, you would be dealing more damage on crits. So you might be dealing more damage overall because you're firing faster. Now that might be the true, but if you run some DPS calculations, you actually run into the fact, best case scenario where we hit all the crits with a pearl and a COV, best case scenario, you're still only dealing 1.8% more damage, maybe 2, depending on a bit more additive multipliers you have here. But I also want to bring in the limelight that company man only gives you additive bonuses, as opposed to the pearl, which gives you additive bonuses and multiplicable. Now, for those who don't know, multiplicable, I'm probably saying it wrong, multipliers, goes a step higher than additive. Additive basically gives you, say, if you damage calculation, if you have 2 additive multipliers, it's a 30% and a 30%. You combine the two, it turns into a 60%. So that's 60% multiplier. So the company man, gives additives. So right there is a baseline right there. Most multipliers in the game are additive, some are multiplicable. Like the pearl, it's multiplicable. So let's take into account a 30% multiplicable multiplier and a 30% multiplicable multiplier. You combine the two, it instead of turning into 60, it turns into 69.
Yeah, boy.
Which is why this is allowing us to deal more damage per shot. And circling back to how you're able to deal more crit damage with the Company Man, if you take into account that the critical hit percentage is a multiplicable multiplier, and you turn on Guardian ranks like this, just for demonstration purposes, turned off this Guardian rank because it does skew the numbers a little higher than I want to, so it's a little harder to test it. But right here, let's go to the COV Company Man. And right now we're able to deal 63, which is a lot more damage than we were doing before, the Guardian ranks. But with the Guardian ranks, with the Pearl, instead of 63, we are able to actually deal higher critical hit with the Pearl than we were able to deal with the Company Man, which is crazy, because the Pearls doesn't have any critical hit multiplier, but this Company Man did. So even if you take into account that the Company Man per shot technically on paper would deal more damage on crit, if you take into multiplicable multipliers, the Pearl is actually able to deal more damage even on crit when you have Guardian ranks. So it doesn't matter if you have a perfect Company Man, the Pearl is still the best in slot. Basically is what I'm saying is that you can go and farm the new raid boss all you want for let's say it takes you 10 hours to get the perfect god roll. In that 10 hours, you could have defeated DLC 2 and got the Pearl of any kind, and you're able to deal more damage with a Pearl of any kind per shot than the Company Man. So basically, don't waste your time on getting a perfect manufacturer Company Man, because once you get that perfect manufacturer Company Man, sure, you're going to be dealing crazy amounts of damage. Say with Vladof, you got a perfect god roll Vladof Company Man. If you were to have a different gun in your weapon slots that's not Vladof manufacturer, you're going to be dealing less damage with it than if you just equip the Pearl. And in most cases, the Pearl is a better weapon, because in most cases, you aren't going to miss consecutive hits, because you could be dealing tons and tons of damage with consecutive hits like this, miss a few shots and still be getting it. See? I'm missing my shots and still getting it. So it doesn't matter if you miss. You don't have to be fully accurate. In most scenarios where you want most damage as possible, you're going to be fighting a boss, and the boss itself won't be dodging your attacks fast enough for you to lose that consecutive hits. So the Pearl is still the best despite all this. You could also say the most you could get out of a god roll Company Man with the max crits, max fire rate, and max damage is using action skill point sum for the road, because you do get some infinite ammo right there. But despite even with the infinite ammo, with the increased fire rate, damage, and critical, you're still unable to deal more damage than the Pearl. In the first 5 seconds, the 5 seconds where you have infinite ammo, you do see on regular body shots with the Company Man with some of the road, compared to a Pearl with no action skill points at all, you're able to see a 8% increase in DPS compared to the Pearl in a 15-second constant shooting DPS race. But if you were to also give the Pearl some for the road, you would instead see a 17% increased damage as well. I know these are a lot of numbers, but these numbers mean a lot when you're dealing millions of damage. And it might not sound like that much, but that little bit does mean a lot when you don't have to worry about crits or whether or not you're actually hitting the boss every single time, because you don't have to hit the boss every single time with the Pearl. Now, I know this has been mostly negative about the Company Man, and I do want to say that the Company Man is, as I said, second best in slot for a non-gimmick damage increase. So if you don't have a Pearl or the DLC to, go ham for the Company Man farm. Also, if you don't plan on doing any builds that are meta, like that shoot really fast, you could also theoretically deal more damage with the Company Man, because you wouldn't be able to get that consecutive hits with the Pearl. But it's uncommon for most builds that are in the meta to involve something that doesn't shoot fast. So in most cases, 9 times out of 10, the Pearl is still the go-to weapon Don't waste your time farming the boss for like, what, 10 hours to get a perfect god roll on one particular manufacturer. Instead, just go defeat the DLC 2 in like 3 hours and get yourself any kind of pearl, and you'll still be able to do more damage. Now, if you're more interested in DPS calculation, you could go in the link down below. It will list all my findings on how to calculate all of this and the DPS checks I did. I did a DPS checks based on a weapon that did 1 damage per shot to discover the specific calculations, but even without that, you can still see why the pearl is still better in all situations. I hope this video is able to save you some time for those of you who've been farming the Company Man and still haven't found a god roll. Don't waste your time, buddies, and like, comment, subscribe, and I hope y'all guys have a great day. Bye-bye.
And the last shall be first to immerse in a pass out heat, facing him out with a moxie melt till he woke up drowning in tchotchke hell. War in a cave with a torch on a wall, then a window arrangement of porcelain dolls.